Welcome back everyone to a new episode of Comedy. Actually, probably the second last of 2025 because we made it. We survived another year. 2025 is coming to an end and we have to check out the remaining of the best records of 2025 that got released between September until December. And don't get me wrong, this year was probably the most difficult year I ever had to choose records or choose what I liked more or better than others. That's not doable anymore. There's just too many good releases. There's too much going on, and trust me, I missed out on so many good records, solid records. Internationally, like on this list, as well as local bands, they just don't stop, and it's getting better each year. And I think my prediction, I'll just gonna say it now, my prediction for 2026 will probably be double of what we got this year. And it's kind of amazing. It's very tiring also to follow up with everything. But hey, it's still a pleasure sharing my personal ideas of what I enjoyed in this year, especially 2025. So we'll jump straight in. And don't get me wrong, I will not do a top 10 list here. Similar than the last episode, I'll just share these probably during our end of the year video where Daniel and Pitt will also be featured again. So very happy to have them here in my small studio-ish thing, and we will talk everything regarding metal, anything basically that you guys, you send us in some questions and we'll try to answer your questions as best as possible. And we'll share our insight on this year's metal releases. So I'll just start randomly. The band 1914 released a record called Viribus Unitis on November 14. The Black and Doom metal band from the Ukraine know exactly how to portray the horrors of World War I in a very similar fashion than Kanon and Fieber, for example. And I'm gonna be honest here, the previous record of 1914 was not so my thing. For some reason, it didn't like get my attention at all as much as I hoped for. But this is again despair, horror, black metal, obviously, doom, the evilest and blackest of doom you can imagine. And it got several amazing critiques all around the metal websites, whatever you want to call it. So I think it's fair to say that 1914's record, Viribus Unitis, is definitely a standout for the end of the year conclusion. So that's why it's on this list, by the way. We move on, and as many of you have seen probably, we had the great pleasure of having an Abstract Illusion in an interview. I mean, that was like, for me, a dream come true. I fell in love with this band, with their previous record, Woe, that came out 2 years ago. This Swedish progressive black death metal, whatever you want to call it. It's such an atmospheric band. They just know how to write good progressive music. And the latest record, The Sleeping City, that came out on October 17th, I have no words. Let's just put it that way. The record is a masterpiece from start to finish. And it embodies everything that a progressive death metal fan would love, with a slight nuance and aspect of the new adventures in terms of synthwave elements in there that really make the album even better, in my opinion. So obviously we had to put an Abstract Illusion on the list. We move on with Igor. As some of you have maybe heard, Igor released a record called Amen on the 19th of September. And whenever Igor releases stuff, the metal world goes wild, because these guys are wild. They reform and reinvent the term alternative metal every time anew. It's weirdness, it's superior creativity, all flown into these weird aspects of how can I make metal fun and interesting again without losing the heaviness. I mean, Amen is just such a fun record to listen to. So many unique songs. You don't necessarily understand most of it because, like, lyrically, very often it's, I will not say gibberish, but it sounds very much gibberish. And that makes it even better in my opinion, because you don't need like lyrics. There are some songs that have lyrics, obviously, not all of them. But it's always fun to see Igor like dropping the bomb basically and saying, hey, this is different and you will like it. And they were not wrong, we liked it very much. And I think the metal world agrees very strongly with that. So Igor, you have to check out Igor, Amen. Anyway, I'll put everything in the description so that you can follow either the band or check out what else they have in store. A big discovery for me this year, and in a way I have to thank all those other YouTubers out there. If it's the YouTubers from Kardashev, from Carterbox Academy, or Nick Nocturnal, they checked out Nether Walker. Very early this year with the song The Battle of Treadham, and I did a reaction video to this music video as well, and my instant thought was like, these guys need to release a record, and it needs to be exactly what these songs represent. If you like fantasy, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, everything that makes fantasy hearts boom, this is your thing. The only thing, it's embodied in the evilest of deathcore way possible. The album Odyssey of the Despair got released on the 17th of November, and that was to me a huge surprise because I was not expecting a record so soon. The record is just probably the best deathcore record of 2025, to me at least, and I really think these guys need to tour. They need to like get the name out there because it's such a weird constellation of a band. Several members of different other bands just came up with this weird fantasy-ish idea. Let's make it deathcore, let's make it evil, and it works freaking well. So check out Nether Walker, you will not be disappointed. We move on to another record, very, very surprising to me. I did not know this band. It's a very young band from the UK. It's called Azira. They do progressive metal, post-metal with a lot of ambience and even some gazy elements. So that's right up my alley, right? So Azira released a record called As Ink in Water on the 14th of November. And I think I've never been so invested during a listening session. I was just like paying so much attention. I know this record got hyped like by a few people that I know, few friends of mine or other bands that were like, yo, you have to check this record out. It's just amazing. It's freaking emotional. It's beautiful. It's sad, and it's also kind of happy-ish. So that got my attention, and I have to agree. I really have to agree. As Ink and Water is a standout ambient progressive metal record, and I really think it can hold up with many other progressive metal bands or metal releases that got released this year. So if you have no clue what Azira is, highly recommend checking out Azira. As you can probably tell, there will be a lot of gaziness on my top 10 because there's a lot of gaze going on this year. There was Kardashev beginning of the year, that was just amazing again. But this is very, very similar, and it has even some Calestra vibes, which is a win for me. So we move on. We move on to a band that I discovered a few years back. It's called Remina. They do doom metal, but I mean, doom metal is not easily explained. There are so many layers to doom metal. It can be depressive doom metal, I don't know. Like some of you may know, or definitely most of you know, Paradise Lost, the gothic metal elements and everything. So these guys pack everything neatly into a very convenient bubble that is not too complex, because what I personally do not like as much is if doom metal gets too, how to say, boring-ish? I don't know. I like my doom metal when it's very atmospheric and detailed. This is not progressive metal, yet I think it is written in a progressive way because it is just so interesting listening to Remina's newest record, The Silver Sea, that came out on 24th of October. So a lot of... I'm actually very happy with my list because there's quite a variety there. A lot of variety, actually. We move on to another big band. Let's just say I lost kind of the vibe listening to them because I've been listening to these guys for several years, called Wintersorg. The genius, Mr. V, Mr. Andreas Hedlund, who is the master behind Wintersorg, he played in Borknagar, and Wintersorg released a new record. And I was not expecting it to be that great, to be fair. My mistake, and shame on me, because Vattenak, Kraft and Spell got released on the 26th of September. It's pagan, folk metal, done well. If you like Borknagar and this particular vibe of pagan metal, I think this is right up your alley. Wintersorg has been around for very, very long. They released several excellent records, several good records, and to me personally, the previous record, that was like Til Fjell's, the second part, did not really catch my vibe. So this is very refreshing, freaking well produced as well. So again, if you look for something different, something northern, cold, I think this is right up your alley. And we already come to the last one. I don't want to make this video too long because, again, everybody does these lists of best records of 2025. I think it's basically just a matter of either you like it or you don't. To me, these are standout numbers. Maybe to you, different ones. Who knows? Let me know in the comments whatever you think. We move on to, let's say, a bit of a controversial one. A few years back, I mentioned a band that released The Winter Way, and it even ended up in my top 10. So obviously the band, I'm a big fan of Atavistia, the Canadian melodic death metal band. Who play, or at least back then, played and portrayed their sound in a way another band is very prominent, another band from Finland named Wintersun. The only good thing about Atavistia back then, they released a lot of music while Wintersun was pretty quiet. So I will not say they were like my backup for anything melodic death metal with this blackened or death Viking symphonic kind of ambience, but The Winter Way got reforged basically. That's why I'm talking about this now. The Winter Way reforged version dropped December 12th, and it's basically exactly the same record, just totally redefined, re-recorded, remastered, everything. And damn, you can definitely hear the difference. I mean, they, for a DIY band, This is pretty insane. I mean, I've seen Atavistia twice by now. They rip off the roof wherever they play. They're very energetic and they write a lot of songs. This is just like, let's say, an appetizer for what else is to come. Last year it was Cosmic Warfare. That was like the thing, or was it the year before? I actually forgot. But they really know how to write melodic death metal, tasty melodic death metal. So I definitely recommend you should check out The Winter Way. If you maybe know the record or the OG version of it, I'm not saying it's bad, but it just got remade in a way it probably should always have sounded. And it is amazingly well crafted, again, for a DIY band. And yeah, I think with that said, these are just obviously eight titles. There's way more out there what 2025 has to offer. And yeah, as said, 2026 will not be an easy one. Trust me on that. There will be a lot of local releases. There will be a few big international numbers. And again, I left out or missed out on so many things because, dude, I have a job. I can't listen to metal 8 or 24 hours a day. I wish I could, but I can't. So again, I hope if whatever drops still, like, or whatever I might catch up on, and if it's worth noting, or if I really like it, I will definitely share it with you guys. But in the meantime, this is just my very short best of the year 2025, the third part, and we will finish off probably the actual top 10, my top 10 list at least. We'll talk some more in detail in the end of the year video with the dudes, and yeah, we'll see what's going on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more like this, or let me know what you thought was a standout for 2025, because you might have picked up on stuff that I left out, so let me know. And with that said, I thank you very, very much for watching and for all the feedback that we get over and over again. It's still kind of insane that this is still relevant to some of you out there. It's pretty relevant to me, and I really enjoy doing what I'm doing, even though sometimes it's very, yeah, DIY, very low budget. Let's call it low budget, but with a lot of passion. And I like my metal with passion, as I love anything else basically. I love this. This is my getaway and my just my, yeah, weird nerdy geekdom knowledge that I want to share with you guys. So thank you very much again, and we'll see each other in the next video. Until next time.